Saint Lucia, mama, that's the land of my birth. Welcome, welcome to Saint
Good morning. We're just gonna wait for a few more people to hop on and then we'll start. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. While we wait for a few more people to hop on, we'll just listen to music. All right. It is, let's see. All right. We'll get started here. Bonjour tout le monde. Jodi a c'est vendredi. Il disait, et puis top Rum Shop Talks. Good morning, everyone. It is 10 a.m. and it is time for another episode of Rum Shop Talks. We kind of hopped on a little later today because we were having technical difficulties, but it's all squared away and we are here. And today we're gonna do our usual two-part Rum Shop Talks. We're gonna do our culture piece and then we're gonna jump into our legal part. And there's a lot of chaos happening, construction over here, the dog barking over there. It's a little loud today, a little louder than usual. Anyways, today's culture piece is where we'll be talking about St. Lucia's national costume. So I'm rocking my Madras headscarf. And what I like about doing the culture pieces for you guys is not only am I educating you, I also learn a lot about my own culture as well. So the national costume for St. Lucia is what this little lady is wearing here. And yes, this is my daughter's doll that I bought for her when I went to St. Lucia. And the plaid fabric here is called Madras. The entire outfit is called the Jeep, and it's actually based on what the French settlers wore in St. Lucia. So this whole the national costume for St. Lucia actually has a French origins. It is primarily worn during celebrations. So you'll see the women wearing it during Independence Day in St. Lucia, or Emancipation Day, or National Day. They'll typically be wearing it as part of a ceremony. There's the national dance is quadrille, and so they'll be wearing it as they for the dance. It is 5 pieces. So you have the headpiece, and the skirt, and it's the shirt, and it's got a scarf that well, the doll doesn't have a scarf, but the dress actually has a scarf that is also made of the Madras fabric and scriptura. So it's actually really cool. For me, it was really interesting to learn about the origins that the women in St. Lucia, where this whole thing started, was during the slavery, during times of slavery, when the slaves were only allowed to get dressed up on the weekends, Saturday, Sunday, and because of course there was no money, when they were able to get fabric, they would get very colorful fabrics and create the outfits, and of course it has ended up looking like this, which is really awesome. I don't own my own national costume. Growing up, I don't think I knew many people who did, but it was always cool to watch the women put it on and get all dressed up. and I do remember wearing it a couple of times for dances at school and stuff. So it's always like a really neat thing to put on and to get dolled up in, because it really isn't something that you see every day in St. Lucia. What you see every day in what you see on weekends in St. Lucia is this right here. The Sunday best with the headscarf and the colorful outfit. I absolutely love this dress because it allowed me to be able to kind of teach my kids and my husband a little bit about St. Lucian national wear. And I love that a country can claim that it has a national costume. You know, it's like really awesome. Anyways, the madras or the jeep outfit, and you guys can, like, you know, continue watching me rock my madras headscarf. Thanks, Tess, for hooking me up with that. Hi, lovely. Don't be. Thanks for showing up. All right, so today's legal part of Rum Shop Talks, we will be devoting it to our newly minted 18-year-olds. And I wanted to really, like, I remember, I think we did this the first of the ever episode of Rum Shop Talks, but right now it's summertime, kids have graduated, families are thinking about sending their kids away to school. Yes, a lot of schools are doing online, but there are kids who are leaving and going to school. And if anything, this quarantine, COVID-19 has taught us is that life is unpredictable, and especially for parents whose kids are away at school in different states, you want to make sure that there is a way that you can continue to care for your kids if they were to be somewhere else. So I just actually did this for one of my clients. I call it the Young Adult Incapacity Care Package. And what it is, it's a set of documents which will allow a parent to continue, or an appointed agent, but most often parents, to continue to care for their adult children if their adult children were to become incapacitated, or even if not incapacitated, but just unavailable to act on their behalf, and the parent has to step in and continue to act. The parent has the proper paperwork to do that. So why is this important? What a lot of parents don't realize is when their children turn 18, along with the freedom of being considered an adult comes the responsibility of being considered an adult. And according to the state, that means that the parental's right to act on the child's behalf, the parent's right to access his or her child's information is now severed. And a lot of parents find that out in unfortunate situations. I had a call a couple of years ago from this lady. Her daughter was 18 years old and was having had tried to commit suicide and had been placed in the hospital on a 5150 hold. For you guys who don't know, it's an emergency 72-hour hold for someone who has been deemed to be a danger to themselves or to other people. They're held, provided with the necessary care, and then released after the 72 hours have passed. And for that family, it was very scary because they did not believe that their child was out of harm's way and wanted to know what they could do. And unfortunately, because the child was 18, the parents couldn't consent to care without the child agreeing to it. The parents couldn't unilaterally act. And so in this situation, what are the parents' options? You know, your child is in the hospital, deemed to be temporarily incapacitated, in terms of, you know, just not having her mental capabilities all present. And the child obviously is not going to consent to being held against his or her will. And so the only option that I could provide for these parents was a court ordered conservatorship, which is a lengthy and expensive process. It wasn't the right fit for the family, but they didn't have another choice. So that got me thinking that we need to educate parents so that they can be proactive in making sure that they take the steps that they need to ensure that while their children are still dependent on them. And let's be honest, you guys, how many 18-year-olds, not in St. Lucia, how many 18-year-olds in America do you know is 100% ready to take on responsibility of their lives. You know, are working, can pay all their bills, don't need their parents anymore. That is the exception and not the rule. So the rule for most kids is at 18 years old, 18, 19, 20, you're still dependent on your family. You're still dependent on your parents to pay your tuition, your living expenses, your, you know, they're still just, you know, making all your decisions for you. And yet while they're doing that, the law says that they don't have access to the information that they need to make those decisions for their children. So the documents that we know that parents need is a durable financial power of attorney, an advanced healthcare directive. We tie that in with an independent HIPAA authorization, and I will go and tell you what each document is and when it is applicable. And finally, independent FERPA waiver. So the durable financial power of attorney, it is a document that allows your child, and let's be very clear here, the parents, they might be paying for this, but the client is actually the child. So the child will be signing a power of attorney, a document, giving his or her parent the ability to have access to and to act for them according for their finances. So when would that be applicable? Your child's away at college and has an issue with their local bank, and we're just an example, and the kid needs you to call the bank or to go to the bank and to figure out what the problem is. You show up at the bank and the bank's like, sorry, your name's not on this account. Yes, you might have the last name as this person, but this person is an adult. The parent cannot do what the child needs. The child is away at college, can't come home to take care of it. So what a power of attorney for a durable financial power of attorney will do is allow that parent to be able to go to the bank and to fix whatever that child's problem is. The power of attorney shows the bank that the parent has the authority to access the financial information and to make decisions for the child. Okay, our second document is a advanced healthcare directive that is similar to a durable power of attorney, but deals with your child's health. So when would that be applicable? Your child is in the hospital, and you, as the agent, will be entitled to receive information about your child's health care. Also will be able to step in and help make decisions on behalf of your child. In the Advanced Healthcare Directive, you would have, by doing this, what's interesting is it's not just you call the lawyer drafts the documents and that's it. You having a conversation with your child. You guys are talking about what the child would like to see happen. It's very adult information, very adult decisions, but your child is an adult when they turn 18. So, you know, it's like it's well within the expectation of conversations that you'll be having. So during that, so basically the Advanced Healthcare Directive will also dictate what kind of care your child would like to receive if he or she were to be incapacitated. And I don't know if you guys remember, but good 20 years ago or so, this case made, it was like a national, possibly international case of this 20-some-year-old, her name was Terry Shivo, married, ended up like, I think she fell, ended up in a coma, and her husband and her parents ended up in this court battle as to what should happen to her. Her husband said that she would have wanted to be taken off of life-sustaining treatment. Her parents said that they believed that she would want everything medically possible done for her, and they ended up having to go to court, and it became, like I said, a national debate as to what this lady would have done. Exactly, Sam. And it was crazy because while all of this was playing out, this poor woman was in a coma in a hospital, just laid up there, no quality of life. How could the family have avoided that? An Advanced Healthcare Directive indicating that if she were to be in a position like this, she would or wouldn't have wanted life-sustaining treatment. What would that have done? First of all, it would have given both her parents and her husband direction on what she would have done, what she would have wanted. save the family money and time of going to court, allowing them to grieve and mourn their family member together. Instead, there was a big division between the husband and the parents, when really I imagine what that lady would have wanted, because I know that's what I would have wanted, is for my husband and my family to be working together and to be mourning and grieving my loss together. You know, it's like family should not be separated at a time like this, but that's what happened in the Terry Schiavo case. So having your 18-year-old execute an advanced healthcare directive will allow us to have direction on what they would have wanted and hopefully avoid a Terry Schiavo type situation. So that is a durable financial power of attorney, advanced healthcare directive. HIPAA authorization. What a HIPAA does is it informs the medical professionals that you, the agent, is someone who can have authority over the information that you are requesting. And finally, a FERPA waiver. So schools actually, so what FERPA is, it is the Family Education something Act, Privacy Act. And it protects your 18-year-olds post-secondary education records and their personal information from unauthorized access. So schools actually do provide their own forms for that, but it's always great to have your own independent forms, because what if your kid did not go on the school's website and sign the FERPA waiver? So what does the FERPA waiver allow you to do? As a parent, it allows you to be able to access your child's education records and their personal records that is kept in the education files, to be able to make decisions for their behalf. You guys can figure out, like, you know, when would that be necessary? You need to pay your kids tuition. There's a problem, you call the bursar and the bursar's like, sorry, we cannot provide you the information that you need to pay your kids tuition. Your kid can't pay the tuition themselves. And so basically you end up in, like, you know, a roundabout like situation. Having a FERPA waiver lets you bypass all of that. It lets the school know that you are an authorized person to be able to access your child's personal and educational information, and allows you to continue to make decisions for your child. And it's the natural decisions that you would be making. How do we see that? How does the whole process work in my office? So we have an online form that we provide the parents for their child. We provide information for the parents to be able to have this conversation with their children. We will also be, in the next month, we'll be offering free webinars for both the parents and their young adult children to come in and get all this information that I just provided you guys for. Also allow the parents and the children to ask any questions that they have, so that they can fill out the forms independently and confidently. Then the forms get sent to me, we draft the documents, and then we are going to coordinate with the parents so that the children can get the documents signed. School is going to be starting in August, so for you guys out there with children who are 18 or who are college-age kids who are going to be heading off to college, now's the time to start the process. Let's get those documents in place so that you can at least have peace of mind, knowing that when your child is away at college, you can still help and you can still take care of them in the way that you have been accustomed to, that your child have grown very accustomed to, and that will probably be necessary while they straddle that place between being a minor and being fully independent. So just as a recap, the forms that we provide in the Young Adult Incapacity Package is an Advanced Healthcare Directive, a Durable Power of Attorney, an independent HIPAA authorization, and an independent FERPA waiver. We make everything, because of where we are right now, everything is COVID compliant. We do most of the work through email and through virtual means, and then the only time we really have to meet your child is during the execution meeting. Why do I want to meet them? Because I also want to give them one more opportunity to answer any questions that they have, to make them aware that of their rights as my client, and also to make sure that the documents are executed properly. And if you're wondering how much is this package for 2020 graduates, it is $300. And I'm happy to extend that price for any parent who is willing to do this between now and at the end of August. So this is it. This is our presentation for today. As always, I will give you guys a few minutes if you have any questions that you would like answered. And in the meantime, you can listen to some music. Like no one has any questions that they're willing to actually ask me here. If you have any questions about this or any other estate planning questions, definitely put them in the comments or email me, reach out. And thank you for stopping by, giving us a few minutes on your Friday morning. We wish you a happy Friday, happy weekend, and we'll see you next week, Friday at 10 a.m. for another episode of Rum Shop Talks. Bye guys!